How to grow lavender. Easy to grow and easy to appreciate, lavender is a welcome addition to any garden, with its beautiful flowers and wonderful aroma. All you need to grow and maintain this fragrant flowering herb is a suitable spot in the garden and a little horticultural know-how. Method 1. Getting started. 1. Choose a well-lit location. Lavender is a Mediterranean herb, so it thrives in hot, sunny locations. Choose a spot in your garden where the plant will receive full sun for at least 8 hours a day. The spot should also be as sheltered as possible to protect the plant from wind. 2. Make sure the soil has adequate drainage. Dampness is the enemy of lavender, so your most important consideration should be to choose a location where the soil is well drained. The soil should be light, fluffy and well aerated for optimum lavender growing conditions. To improve soil's drainage, you can mix in a little silica sand before planting. Silica sand offers many benefits: it drains well, does not cement, and is very reflective, which helps reflect sunlight onto the plant. This is especially helpful in colder and wetter climates. Alternatively, try planting your lavender on a raised bed, at the top of a slope or beside a wall to maximize drainage. 3. Check the pH level of the soil. Lavender grows best in slightly alkaline conditions, with an ideal soil pH level of between 6.7 to 7.3. You can test your soil's pH level using a commercial test probe. These are available for purchase at home improvement stores and garden centers. If necessary, you can increase the alkalinity of your soil by adding a little lime. The amount you add will depend on your type of soil and the test recommendations. 4. Purchase your lavender. There are many species of lavender available for home growing. Whether they flourish or fail will depend on the conditions in the area in which you live. The types of lavender sold at your local nursery or garden center will usually be compatible with your area's conditions, though you can check the label on the plant or ask a nursery employee if you are unsure. Mustead and Hidcote Lavender are two especially hardy varieties. While it is possible to grow lavender from seeds, this is not recommended as the seeds require scarification and chilling and can take nearly a month to germinate. Score 0. Method 1 Quiz. What sort of conditions do lavender thrive in? Not exactly. There are some hardy varieties of lavender that do well in various conditions, but generally, lavender wants lots of sun. It should get at least 8 hours of sun per day. Try another answer. Nope. You want to make sure your lavender's soil drains well. A raised bed or the top of a slope is a great place to plant lavender so the water runs off and the soil dries out before it's watered again. Can you find a better option? Correct. As a Mediterranean herb, lavender prefers hot locations with lots of sun. Be sure to give it shelter, though, to protect it from cold winds. Read on for another quiz question. Method 2 Planting. 1. Dig a hole big enough for the spread roots. Use a trowel to dig a hole in the location you have chosen for your lavender. The hole should just be deep enough and wide enough to contain the roots when you spread them out. If you're planting the lavender in a pot or container, choose a very large pot. The root system for lavender is much larger than the actual plant. 2. Prepare the soil. Prepare the soil to receive the lavender and optimize its growing conditions by placing 2 heaped handfuls of 1 round stone, along with half a cup, total, of lime, well-composted manure and lime meal into the hole. Mix well. Cover this blend with a light layer of soil. The stone will help with drainage, the lime will alkalize the soil, while the bone meal and fertilizer will help to get your lavender plant off to a good start. 3. Water lavender in its nursery pot before planting. You should water the lavender plant in the pot you bought it in, at least an hour before planting. This will ensure that the roots are hydrated, but not damp, before going into the soil. 4. Prune the lavender. Lightly prune your lavender before planting. This will give the plant shape, ensure good air circulation through the stems, encourage new growth, and prevent the center of the stems from becoming woody, which is a common problem with lavender. Good airflow is especially important if you live in a more humid climate. 5. Prepare the roots. Remove the lavender plant from its nursing pot and gently shake to remove any excess soil from the roots. The lavender should be planted into its new home with bare roots. to ensure it quickly and easily adapts to its new growing environment. 6. Plant the lavender. Carefully place the lavender plant into its prepared spot and rest it on a layer of soil slightly above the stone blend you mixed earlier. Make sure the roots do not come in direct contact with the blend. Fill in any extra space around and above the lavender's roots with soil, lightly patting it into place around the base of the stems. If you're planting more than one lavender plant, leave about 36 inches (91.4 centimeters) between each plant. This will guarantee good air circulation and allow the lavender space to grow. Score 0. Method 2 quiz. What should you do to prepare your lavender for planting? Correct. Lavender needs slightly alkaline conditions to be its best, which is why you use a bit of lime. The manure and bone meal work together to feed your lavender. Be sure to add a couple handfuls of 1-inch round stones to promote drainage. Read on for another quiz question. You're so close, but nope. Leave the roots as is, but you should prune the lavender a bit before you put in the ground or its new pot. Pruning encourages new growth and prevents the stems from becoming woody. Can you find a better option? Not quite. You should, however, water the plant in its original pot about an hour before you plant it in the ground or its new pot. This ensures the roots get a big drink of water, but they won't be damp when they go into their new soil. Try another answer. Nope. Look again for the right answer. When your lavender is ready to go into its new home, you should shake off excess soil to reveal the plant's roots. Then carefully place it in the hole you've prepared, and don't let the roots touch the stone blend you created earlier. Can you find a better option? Method 3 Maintenance. 1. Fertilize the soil once a year. Lavender is a fairly low-maintenance plant and will only need to be fertilized once a year, if that. Use a light top dressing of mixed compost and bone meal, sometime in early spring. An ideal time to fertilize your newly planted lavender is after the first watering. Allow the soil to dry, then apply the fertilizer. 2. Water sparingly. As mentioned before, dampness is the enemy of lavender, and if the roots of the plant become excessively damp, it will kill the plant quicker than any drought or freezing temperatures. In fact, over-watering new lavender plants in spring is the main cause of growth failure. Once the lavender is planted, deeply water it every 7 to 10 days. To achieve the proper level of watering, make sure that the soil dries between each watering. However, the plant itself should not be allowed to become dehydrated. If you are growing lavender in a northern climate, you will water the plant very sparingly until the summer, when temperatures can skyrocket and dry out the soil. You will then want to begin watering the plant every 7 to 10 days. If you're growing lavender in a pot, make sure the pot has excellent drainage to prevent water from pooling at the bottom. 3. Prevent weeds. You can prevent weeds from growing around the base of your lavender plant by covering the soil with a thin layer of mulch. Use a light, colored mulch, such as coarse sand, gravel, or oyster shells. Mulch will also help to protect the plant's roots from winter frosts. Do not use wood mulch, which will retain moisture and can lead to root rot. 4. Prune the lavender plant. You should prune your lavender plant about once a year, preferably in spring before the new growth begins. You should prune about 1/3, 1/2 of the plant when it shows new spring growth. Use pruning shears or hedge trimmer to achieve a tidy, rounded shape. New growth looks like long, thin legs sprouting from the leafing branches. The plant will also begin to form blooms. This is also a good time to fertilize the plant. Pruning your lavender will encourage new growth and stop the plant from breaking open and sprawling. Just make sure not to prune your lavender, as this may kill new growth altogether. 5. Harvest the flowers. The best time to harvest fresh lavender is when the bottom flowers of each stem are just beginning to open. This is when the lavender is at its most vibrant and fragrant. Cut the flowers at the base of the stems, near the foliage. Prune the plant back to the new growth leaves. This may encourage your plant to bloom a second time, in the fall. If all or most of the blooms have opened on the lavender plant, then it is too late to harvest for herbal purposes. If you plan to dry the lavender, harvest when about 3/4 of the blooms have opened. To dry the lavender, bundle about 100 of the flowers together, tie with a rubber band and hang indoors in a warm, dark and dry location, suspended upside down from a nail, for about 10 to 14 days. If you wish to remove the dried lavender from the woody stems, you can roll the bundle on a metal screen placed over a bucket. This is called garbling the lavender. If you want to decorate your house with lavender, place the flowers in a vase, but do not put the roots in water. This just causes the flowers to fall off faster and makes the stems mushy. Score 0. Method 3 Quiz True or False, lavender is a high-maintenance herb. Nope. It's fairly easy to care for. It doesn't require much water, and in fact, overwatering can kill lavender faster than anything else. Make sure you let the soil dry out between watering, but don't let the plant lose hydration. Also, you only need to fertilize the herb once per year with a mix of bone meal and compost. Try another answer. You're right. It's a low-maintenance plant that just needs a prune every spring. You also want to prevent weeds from taking over your garden, which is easy to do with mulch, such as coarse sand or gravel. The mulch will also protect your lavender when temperatures drop in the winter. Read on for another quiz question. Tips. Foliage typically ranges from dusty green to silvery gray, and a few species have bright chartreuse leaves. Not all types are readily available, but may need researching through mail-order websites or seed catalogs. A perennial, lavender grows from 1 to 3 feet, 0.3 to 0.9 m, tall, depending on the variety. It needs at least 6 hours of direct sun each day, more is better. Lavender plants grow in hardiness zones 5 through 10 and are planted about 15 inches, 38.1 centimeters apart. The lavender blooms come in midsummer and range from lavender-hued gray to a vibrant royal purple. There are also species with blooms in other colors, white, pink, and a yellow-green. The flowers themselves are small, sometimes bud-like but open and full on others, and they grow up the spiky stems. Lavender's older stems are woody, and the plant does not divide as easily as many perennials. If moving is necessary, lift the plant in spring just after new growth has started and replant immediately. The plant can be propagated by layering. Some varieties of lavender can be grown from seeds, especially variety Mustead, or pots of live plants can be purchased in the spring. Favorite varieties include Grosso, Provence, Royal Purple, Grey Lady, and Hidcote. Warnings. Lavender is susceptible to root rot. To avoid this, never over-water your lavender plants and keep winter watering to a minimum.